All right. Welcome, everyone, to Consumed.
I
We start off in the calibration phase, and I believe we were going to start off with Lavender's calibration. Tell us
mhm.
about what that is. I mean, might as well just jump in here because you changed a bunch of stuff since the last
I
time we
changed
played,
so much stuff. It's
and I
kind of
feel like we
ridiculous.
need to relearn the game again before we can play. So we should
Mhm.
we should
Yeah.
we should start that process.
Yeah.
I literally did 2 hours of game analysis to figure out what's going on, and now everything's different.
Yep.
Yep.
Welcome to playtesting a game.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
pretty much. I literally joked with with the other group for that Bake Escape show that it was literally a different game every week we played it. And I feel like if you think this is bad, it was so much worse than that during that. Uh, but yeah,
Oh no. It's like this is the thing with you. Like you will change the game every session.
yes,
And
pretty
I'm like,
much.
how can you make a conclusion from play with one session of testing?
Mhm. It's mostly because like I see trends over several sessions of playtesting, and if like the changes I'm seeing aren't changing, then I do stuff to try to target those specific things.
Hmm.
But I'm
Okay.
going to talk about my phase now. So I start kind of like we have been by um no, I start with a different thing and then I do the other thing. Okay. So I tell the people in chat to give us like objects or pieces of clothing or landscapes or visuals that they want to see in the show.
Fashion.
And if we want to take them, we will. And we'll get to that when we get to it. That's the thing I have to say first. Now I can do the other thing. Um, this also means that um, that book of embarrassing stuff that Bryce had, that's on the table because that was a contribution that we still have and still haven't used. Because of that, I would like to be Bryce. And then Kelsa, you you can either play as Giant Sleep or you can play as June because I really like how you're playing June.
So
Choose one of the two.
this is how we determine characters now. Well, I'm gonna ask Golden. Golden, were you interested in playing Giant Sleep, or were you like, please, someone else take it?
Uh I really want to play it because I feel like I don't want to make the players wait. It makes me feel bad. So I'd be happy if you tried it.
Okay. Well, I have no idea what I'm doing, so I'll take it though.
All right. Good
Okay.
luck.
Thank you.
Pick one of these little words on the Giant Sleep page and put it on Giant Sleep.
Double checking. I'm actually on Giant Sleep. Yes, I am. Okay. And they go in the memories slot, right?
Yep.
Okay. Uh, you know what? You know what?
I'm seeing some good ones here.
What 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 layer are they on?
They're on the GM layer, I think.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so
Yeah,
I need
yeah,
to
they are.
copy that. No, copy.
Yep. And then whenever you're ready, it's just like before where you draw a line from the thing you picked to mine. Anything in my color.
Uh, what layer does that go on?
That would go on the token layer.
Token layer. Okay. And your color is bright red.
Yep.
And I can't cross other stuff?
You can't cross anything except the word and my thing.
I just barely don't cross my own line that way.
Okay,
I was gonna say, if that wasn't possible, would she not be allowed to take that thing?
that's correct.
Okay.
There, I'll fix that.
Oh,
so-
good. We have the Space Center finally.
Yes, we were talking just briefly before the show about we talked about how this is a space future and we haven't even seen any space anythings. Well, let's fix that Space Center.
And then you have to tell me what you're saying to Bryce by taking the Space Center.
What am I saying to Bryce?
Bryce is our free runner boy.
I am saying that you cannot run on the moon.
That's interesting because I was thinking you were gonna go the opposite and say you can run in space. Like there are more places to run than what exists here on Earth.
Mm.
But I also like that you're placing limitations on him. So
Yeah, I like that too. So then, Staney, you can either play the neighborhood as Small Step, or you can play as Ferdinand.
how does that work if we're both playing neighborhoods?
Then I would have to keep going until there's just one neighborhood.
I see. Okay. I'll pick Ferdinand.
Not trying to make
Cool.
it too complicated.
No, I don't want to do that today.
No.
Consumed, complicated, same thing, really.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You just take a step in one neighborhood, you end up in the other. It's
Yeah.
normal.
So then you take a thing off the board and you would draw it to one of Kelthus's objects.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was something that was still in the game. I was waiting for instructions.
Okay, gotcha. I couldn't quite tell.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, also, am I supposed to remove that completely from the board?
Yep.
Once I draw my line? Okay. That's what I was forgetting to do.
Let's see. Oh, there's a. Can I pick it from anywhere on the board? As long as I'm in Giant Sleep?
Yes.
Yeah, 'cause we haven't drawn a rectangle yet. This
Yeah,
is
but there's-
last session's rectangle.
Yeah,
I
that's-
just wanted to make sure.
It's gonna
Oh,
change.
Gosh. What do I want to pick? I'm gonna pick Street View cameras.
That's really interesting. Feels like it kind of fits into Ferdinand's niche.
That's kind of why I went with it.
Yeah.
Basically, let me go ahead and put that on a sheet before I forget.
Mhm.
And then I will tell you what he's saying to the neighborhood with those street view cameras.
Yep.
Can I say that he's saying two things or just one thing? Or can that mean multiple things?
I think any of those is fine.
Okay. I think he's saying two things with those street view cameras. I want you to see what I'm doing. And also, I'm also watching you.
That's cool. So Golden, you can either be Small Step or you can be. Let's take a look. You can either be Small Step or you can be Brian. That's who I want.
Yeah, I'll be Brian.
Okay. What do you want to take off the board and put on Brian.
Hmm. Hmm. I'm looking at the things on the board and I'm like, this isn't an aspect, is it?
No, that I
So
was
that-
supposed to put a thing on the X when I crossed Kelsa's dot.
Yeah. I was like, because that's a thing.
Because I was challenging her dot, and that was the challenge. So I'm gonna out
Mm.
steal you.
Yeah, it's
Technically,
just
that was Bryce's challenge.
right. It's hard to. Which one of these is Brian?
Yeah.
To me, Brian is a foggy road bridge or maybe a test pattern suit.
Yeah, those are both cool. But I'm trying to figure out blue building lights.
Also, I like that too. Yeah.
I'm gonna pick that somehow. There we go. Oh, I should probably leave it on the table until
I will ping where you need to go.
yeah.
Like ripples in a pond.
So I need to go from here to somewhere else.
To one of my lines or dots.
Yes.
And you are teal.
Yes.
Mm.
And you can't cross anything else.
Can I cross the green area?
I don't know.
No.
That's interesting.
Well, then you really only have one place you can go from there.
Yeah. I guess so. Let's see here. We'll go from here to here, right? I can do that.
That's not my color.
Yeah, you're teal.
Nope, that's Kelsa's gray.
Or
Oh.
the dusky pale purple.
Okay, well, I guess I have to go to this circle.
It's a
Yeah.
very pale purple.
Yeah, pale purple.
Yeah.
Could he go to the word first?
I don't know. I would be fine with that.
I guess I can't cross through the circle because that would involve crossing the line of the circle.
Right.
What if you're like tangential to the circle? Then could you cross it?
Yep.
Basically.
Because you
See-
would be crossing in exactly one place. We
Yeah.
know this from geometry.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm doing,
Yeah.
but I can't go past.
Yeah, you can if you just skim the side.
But I have to go to your color.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you
I
have
can't
to...
go past your color.
I mean, I went past Kelsa's and Lavender said it was fine.
I also went past
All right.
Lavender's over here.
Okay, my line now goes off into infinity.
Yay!
I just grabbed it and I made it bigger until it went off the page. So I don't know how big it is exactly, but it's
Infinity.
going somewhere. Mm-hmm.
Big enough.
Big enough. So I took and add a style, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Blue building lights. And who am I telling this to? I'm telling this to
Ferdinand.
Ferdinand, yeah.
Ferdinand.
What do the blue building lights tell Ferdinand about Brian?
Someone like Brian is not a companion to run with. Brian is an obstacle to be climbed.
Oof.
Interesting. Okay.
That's really interesting. I'm going to say giving myself two choices because that seems a little redundant. I need to actually make Small Step as a character. Give it a sheet. Wow, that's an interesting Roll20 sheet
Yep.
name. Mhm.
Kokriso Zaglaulo.
Mhm.
When you say it out loud like that, it sounds like you're speaking in Slimlish.
I can say some things in Simlish. Nargo Gazette.
Yeah.
Okay. Small Step. What am I saying to Brian? Let's take a look. Let me make a line. Make sure I'm on the right layer.
Do you make this over on Small Step, or are you still doing it from Giant Sleep?
I would do it on Giant Sleep. You were right. Thank you for reminding me.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I also don't know. Why is it on Giant Sleep because Giant Sleep was first?
I'm putting it on Small Step.
Oh, you are putting it on Small Step.
Yes. That's
Okay.
that's what I'm trying to say. Ooh, I see this rainbow and it's inside the circle. Yeah, I want it. I want it. Okay.
Good thing it's inside Golden Circle, so you get to have it.
Yes.
It'd be pretty awkward if it wasn't.
That just makes me realize if I put something in a circle, I may never get to have it if I'm the one who puts it there.
That's true. I never thought of that, but that's actually very interesting. And I feel like in a good way. So Small Step has a rainbow, and that's telling Brian that a librarian or the keeper of books has job opportunities in more places than just high-tech sci-fi city.
Okay.
I mean, isn't everywhere a high-tech sci-fi city?
Small
Apparently
Chip is
not.
just defined by rainbows. That's it.
Yes.
That's the only defining
No,
characteristic.
there's one. Rainbow.
One rainbow. My mistake.
Yes. Okay,
Alright.
Kelsey, it's your turn. I'm going to make you choose between. I'll make you choose between Bryce or Giant Sleep.
I think I want to stick with Giant Sleep.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so I need to go and find something for Giant Sleep. And then I'm going to be telling something to Small Step.
Yep, which is your like neighboring, much smaller town.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
I was thinking about that too.
My eyes immediately went to that 5-lane street.
Oh,
Obviously, I'm not the one choosing. But...
right. I know.
And what do you need a 5-lane street to go to a small town?
I can't take a 5-lane street anyway, because there's no way to make a straight line to Lav's Color.
Oh, that's true. What? Wait, hold on. Yeah, you could cross through the gray box.
Yeah, I guess I could.
You don't have
Yeah.
to. I'm just saying that's an option.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to. I think actually I want Foggy Road Bridge.
That's also a good one.
Oh.
Um, I think what I'm saying to Small Step with this Foggy Road Bridge is that it is the distance between our cities is further than the physical distance.
Mm.
I get what you're saying from that. Estaney, you can either play Small Step or you can play Trinity.
I will do Trinity. Question: can I pick either neighborhood to play in for this part, or do I have to keep going in Giant Leap?
You
Since technically both neighborhoods are in play right now.
right. You would be in Giant's Leap, and you would be saying something to Giant's Leap.
Okay.
Yep.
So how does one say? How does one interact with Small Step then? Would it only be if you gave Kelsa the option for a Small Step?
If Kelsa had picked, like, if I were going before you and I picked Small Step, then you would be able to go to Small Step and then interact with me.
Okay.
But
Then
I
why
picked
is
something for Small
Kelsa-
Step, and then Kelsa went back to Giant Sleep.
Okay. Okay, I get it. I think.
Oh, okay. So if I had gone with Bryce,
Yes.
then Bryce would have been in Small Step.
Yep.
And everyone after that would have been too.
Yep.
Okay, I get it.
I did not fully understand that, but I stick by my decision.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with that bolero hat, I think.
Cool. I can see it.
I mean, that's a look.
Yeah.
I'm gonna polygon my line. Oop, not like that. Because it crosses the thing I can't cross. I'm trying to make big lines. I don't know if that helps or not, but that's just a thing I'm trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Seems like it makes it easier and like more readable.
And with that bolero hat,
Is that valid? Because that also goes through the clear plastic vest.
That should be fine because the clear plastic vest is not like
Okay.
Doesn't have a color.
Cool.
And then what Trinity is saying to Giant Sleep about with the bolero hat is you don't need to worry about it. Just look over there, it's fine.
Yeah.
Cool. Golden, you get Small Step or you get Ferdinand.
Hmm. All right, I'll go with Ferdinand. Now I need to go to Stanny's color again.
Fortunately, since I'm drawing such big lines, you should be able to pick pretty much anything from Giant Sleep and go to my color. That is another reason why I want to pick big lines.
Pretty much. But But I may end up making a very small line.
That's okay.
Because I want this clear plastic vest.
Oh yeah, that would be a really tiny line.
Yeah.
Just a little beep.
Yeah, but you said I can go through the line? And
Yes.
keep going?
As long as it doesn't start going through other stuff.
Alright, we'll make it go to infinity again.
And beyond.
There we go. And
that touches my line and it goes through Asini's X. You'll need to reorient it just slightly.
oh no.
Yep.
Can I rotate it? Is there a rotate
No.
tool?
Yeah, you
I
should
don't
be able
think-
to rotate it.
Oop,
Oh, it's
the
hiding
military
off screen.
badges are moving. The military badges are moving.
Oh no. I just undid it. It's fine.
All right, I've grabbed them.
I'm doing this so that I can have the rotator. And then if I put it like this, all right, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And what I'm saying to Trinity is that I have a new art style.
Okay.
Cool. I'm going to be Bryce, and I'm going to take this might be our last one because I think Kelsa's the neighborhood and we've all been picking
Stars. Yeah.
stars. Yeah. Episode 2 notes. I really, really want to take that book as Bryce. So I'm going to be Bryce. I'm going to take a book that is cursed to catalog the reader's most embarrassing moments out loud. Bryce. Bryce.
Where is that thing?
Take this. Wonderful. And how I mark that on the board is I go from anywhere on the edge, like all the way out to the edge. And then I cross one of Golden's lines. So it would be something like, I'm going to put this in the corner. If it will let me. Oh, I can just do this the other way probably. That'll be a little easier. And then if I move it, there we go. It's right over here. It's crossing over the edge. It's going to golden space. And what I'm saying with that book of that catalog of embarrassing moments Golden, who are you playing?
Ferdinand.
I'm saying to Ferdinand that there are some feelings about you that I might not be expressing that are in this book that I find very embarrassing. But
I know these feelings.
Cool. We have a 2:7 aspect ratio.
Remind me how the aspect ratio works.
I got to turn on the grid on Giant Sleep.
But like, how do you get it?
Its width is the number of neighborhood things that we did, and its height is the number of stars that we put things on.
But didn't we do more than 2 neighborhood things?
Yeah, we did at least 3.
Okay. What did
Yeah,
we put
because
on
Kelsey
Giant
did the
Sleep?
neighborhood
Right.
twice, and you
Right.
put something on small step at least once.
Yep, that's me. I miscounted. So it will be 3x7, I think.
Okay.
The cell width is equal to the number of circles without dots in them. So 1, 2, 3. Just kind of what I was expecting. And then I have to count how big this is. And I have to delete the old box.
Oh wow, that's a huge box.
Yep. It's gonna be pretty big.
And who did you wind up playing, Lavender?
I wound up playing Thank You. We all need to change our display names to be the characters that we're playing. I picked Bryce.
Right. Okay, and then Sani is Trinity, and Golden is Ferdinand, and I am Giant Sleep.
Yes.
Cool.
I was updating mine as I went.
Okay. Big square. Kind of want to go this way with it.
Oh, are you able to choose the orientation of it? Or not?
I'm allowed to choose where it is, but I don't get to choose the dimensions of it.
So it's always going to be like 3 across and 7 down, for
Yep.
example? Okay.
Yep. It's very hard for me to see this grid because of my screen. I'm gonna
You
try
can
to
change the color of the grid lines if that helps you.
Yeah. But I'm also trying to draw it right now. So, okay, that's 5. I need it to be 7.
So up here.
Yep. There we go. And then I want it to be like a little further this way. And then I think I'm happy with it.
So it doesn't have to be aligned to the grid. The grid is just for the size.
Yeah, the grid's for the size.
Okay. I hope you don't mind all these questions. I've never
No,
done
I
this
like
part.
I like this question. I like when people ask questions because then it means I don't have to get paranoid. If that makes any sense. That like people aren't asking me questions. Okay, yeah, I think that has pretty much everything I wanted there to be in there. Okay, I'm happy with that. That's much bigger than it was before.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
And then we wanted, so that would be the end of my phase, but then we wanted to do Golden's recap phase 2.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, Golden, you ask the chat at the same time that you ask us what they remember us doing in the last episode or the episode before that, just in time as we've been playing the game.
Yes.
And then you ask us the
Okay.
same thing.
Everyone, what do you remember happening last time on Rejuvenate, Obfuscate?
And then you pick one of us specifically to recap first.
Well, there's got to be some question.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, no, we just
Yep.
tell chat to do it and then everything. Okay. I'm going to ask Adam.
Nope.
What does Adam? Did you say no? I can't pick you.
You can pick me, but you don't ask me a specific question if that's what you were going to do. Like you
okay.
asked me what I remember last time.
Yeah, I don't do it anymore.
Recap.
All right, I just pick you. Go for it.
Yep. And then after I recap, you'll decide which circles my my recap answers.
Okay.
Yep. So I remember last time that we.
Before you answer, do I have to only use one neighborhood, or do I have to have both of them open somehow?
You just need Giant's Leap open.
Okay.
Because that's the one we're working with right now.
All right.
Yep.
All right, go ahead.
Last time on our show, Ruth turned into this deep red silhouette. And normally she's so, like, we see her last time talking about how you should squeeze life like an orange and live it for everything at its worth. But then at the end of the show, everything, like, we see the screen glitch and everything goes wrong, and we see the piles of fan mail dumping onto like a table that's being filmed in like B-roll footage or whatever, and this like dark red light came over her and she turned into this dark red silhouette, and she couldn't stop talking about how the reality show was doomed and how, because the continuity got skipped, I think she was just having a really hard time coming to grips with that. But before that, we go back to see the moment where she just gets out of the confessional room and she's with Trinity, but we don't see what Trinity has in her hands. And we see like an iron cage behind them inside of a beach tent. That's all those little clips that I have from last time.
I don't remember the fan mail, so I'm gonna say that's non-canon, right? That's what I do. I say it's canon and canon.
You tell me which circles I'm answering with my recap.
So it doesn't matter if it's canon or non-canon anymore?
It doesn't really matter. Like, if I can put it in the circles and that's you saying that it's canon.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're answering who shines with a deep red in your mind and who is reminded of the past.
Are we allowed to use that question if it's not in the box?
I'm not sure.
That's a good question.
Yep.
And we're not doing the calibration out of order.
I'm going to put it in who is reminded of the past, in any case.
Okay.
Because that's also in the box, so then I can use it in the game.
Okay.
And then Golden, you decide who recaps next.
Actually, could I said how does Ruth become ruthless? Because now it's in red. See this one?
Could be.
Oh, I see. Maybe just write the questions in our color. Is that what happened here?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Hold on. There's more questions I didn't see.
Yeah. I was kind of angling for who is Trinity with when she views the pale purple sky.
Yeah.
Bring up the sky color.
Yep. If you think I answered that, then I'd probably move my dot in there instead.
Yeah, okay. You can put it there.
Okay, thank you.
You were definitely angling for that. I just literally could not read that text.
Yeah, it's really pale.
Zooming in.
It's very pale purple.
It's a secret question.
I need to turn this grid back off.
Kelsa, I'm gonna make your question less pale purple. Is that okay?
Yes, that's the readability is.
Skip purple. That's better. We can read that.
Okay.
I can read that anyway.
Cool.
I can't read it now.
There we go.
All right, Kelsa, you can ask your recap.
Oof.
Just
What?
say June was a bitch. You're good.
Oh, you're not wrong. Oh. Oh boy. What I remember was that Ferdinand was still in a cage. I don't really like. I can't remember anything else. Like that's the one thing that is just like sticking out in my mind and is blurring everything else.
I know.
Is there something
If
non-canon
do
you
not
want to
have
add to that?
like
That's
a
true.
minimum of recapping, that's like all you have. That is perfect.
I'm just gonna leave it at that. That's what I got.
Okay. I'm gonna say you answer who Trinity is with. I think maybe Trinity left a part of herself in that cage.
Very interesting.
I'm gonna answer it now. Recap time. I remember. Every time I try and think about it, it tries to run away. But I remember. So bad with names. Okay.
I have a whole
I
list of them.
remember. I think it was. Well, that's the thing is that I have the name in my mind, and then I go to say it, and it was like, bloop.
I feel that.
I think it was June that got Jolene to sign a contract to join the show. It was Ruth.
It was Ruth. It was Ruth.
Okay.
But
And
well, it's not my recap.
oh yeah, okay. Ruth did it, and then Jolene became the producer of the show. Um, I remember. I remember the O's being afraid of something. I remember there was something else, but I can't remember anymore. That's all I remember, I guess.
I just looked at the notes from episode 3. The only thing written there is Brian won episode 3.
Don't worry, I remember a lot. I'll help you guys out.
Oh, thank
Yes.
goodness.
It's my turn.
All right, Stanley, what do you remember?
Did you answer any of those questions? Do you get to put a dot in a thing?
No.
Okay.
If you didn't, then you can put your dot anywhere on the board that isn't enclosed.
Anywhere on the board or in the box?
Anywhere on the board.
Is the box enclosed?
No.
Okay. I need to move that, but yeah, go ahead, Stanley.
Okay, so we started by seeing Jolene pull up to, I can't remember, I think it was the library, but it might have been the Skybridge place, because June was going to get her shipment of books in, and Jolene had parked in the shipping receiving area. And so they got into a big altercation where June was trying to get Jolene to move. And Jolene was like rolling her eyes, like, whatever, I'm not moving. and that didn't happen. And so then we also see Trinity going up to the truck as it pulls up and telling them, hey, we don't need them anymore, get out. We also see Ruth convincing Jolene to sign a contract, and then some weirdness happens, and then suddenly everyone's on a beach, and they were gonna do some sort of like surfing thing, but then Ruth gets trapped in the confessional and can't get out, and we see Trinity breaking her out. And then weirdness happens, and then suddenly we're all in like June's house or something, and um I remember seeing Trinity go into the dark room and she's screaming at the O's, I put them in the cages. Why are you still doing this? And that was the last we saw of Trinity.
Nice. Oh man, what are the
That was a
questions?
great recap.
Thank you. That was a great recap.
Just
As soon as-
anywhere. Just put it anywhere.
As soon as I remembered that Jolene was in the episode, I remembered the whole thing.
That sounds-
Pretty much.
Except you don't remember what happened in the after episode.
Do those count? Do we put those in there too?
We can.
Because I can recap that as well. Everyone was hanging out at like a little coffee bakery place.
Oh yeah, the
And-
coffee.
Oh, I
And,
remember how
like
this
Bryce had his dog, and Ruth wanted to play with the dog, and Ferdinand was sitting at the table, and he was like cutting up his his new project that he was working on, and Brian was there, and he was working on something on his laptop, and he really liked the dog, and then he and Bryce are gonna go running in the morning together. They're like new best friends. It was a whole thing. And yeah, and Ferdinand, he asked Ferdinand how long he has to be in the cage for. And we ended the after show on that.
The way I remember that works is you can totally say all of that, and that makes it canon. But we might not have questions about that, or we might. Depends on what questions we have. So yeah, totally. That was also good. I love our after episodes.
Which I just
What
realized I haven't put that one
question?
up yet.
Yeah.
Well, spoilers, sorry.
What question did you answer?
I may not have answered any of them, and that's okay.
I mean, obviously, Esteni is reminded of the past. Well, I don't know about the rest of them.
Well, how far of the past are we talking about?
Ferdinand was reminded of the past that he's stuck in a
Yes.
cage.
Yeah.
I'm definitely thinking this one because you also recapped the moment we were together.
Mm.
And also Trinity's reminded of the past where she was compelled to put people in cages and the O's are still not satisfied.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would probably say that one if anything.
Yeah, I think you're in that one. I'm trying to. Yeah, okay. I think just reminded of the past one.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Can I? Is that valid? Where I put it? I put it on your line in the circle. Is that? Can I do that?
I see.
I'm at the point as a player when you're playing a new game and you try to find ways to break it. Apparently.
Yeah, no, it's good.
If you're not sure,
I
can just
genuinely
move it.
don't know. No, I do know. It's disadvantageous because the neighborhood has a move that that deletes all dots that have been X'd or crossed over. So that would be already crossed over. So you
What
could
if
put
I
two,
fit
but
it right in between the two? Does that count as crossed over?
Make it smaller.
yeah.
Can I resize it?
Yep.
I would recommend not putting it there because
Oh,
we
I
will
see.
never choose to recap in there.
True. All right, I'll put it here then. Also, I'm seeing 2 neighborhood boxes.
I saw that too. I tried to figure out which one was the right one so that I could get rid of the wrong one.
We can just change one to be orange for a little bit.
That's really confusing.
Wow, they're all.
Yeah. Let me.
Oh, you changed the fill color to orange.
Mm-hmm.
So that means the inside one must be.
Yeah. Oh,
Oops, that's not it.
yeah. I think this one is
Yeah,
the.
I think so too.
I'll just.
I agree.
Looking at the
This one.
measurements. Yeah.
So then we have to. Does it have to be on the lines?
No, it doesn't. I just need it to like measure the box at first, and then I can move it wherever. So yeah, that looks good.
Cool.
That seems like a good recap. And maybe we can start playing the game.
Okay.
I burned
cool.
stuff.
Do we want to burn things?
If you want to burn it now, we could, but there's a good chance we're gonna have to recalibrate at some point when we all get stuck in our moves.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Mm.
So it's
All
totally up to
right.
you. I'm not trying to push you one way or another. I'm just reminding you that that's a thing.
We'll burn soon enough.
Cool. So how we start is Golden. Since Golden ended the last phase, you go to your sheet and you have a new move based on our Dark Chamber role that we assigned at the beginning. Like how Kelsey's the broadcast, I'm the lens, Golden's the resolution, and Estaney's the flash. This is from that moment last episode where Kelsa popped in with something that's like, I'm not sure that there's a move for this, but I want to do this thing. And I was like, yeah, we need some kind of additional move because we are getting locked in our moves all the time, and having something else would be nice.
And so what does that change when you select which meta move you are?
When you pick it on the drop down, it gives you the move that's for your role.
And as the neighborhood, I don't have one.
I also don't see one.
Nothing seems to be changing
Yeah.
when I.
Oh, gross.
I see 5 pairs of moves no matter what.
Yeah.
That's gross.
So why don't you just tell us what we should see, and we'll pretend we don't have the other one.
Oh, this is weird. This is a coding error. Great. Love that. Cool.
Uh-oh.
Do we want to take a break real quick and then come back so that I can fix this? Because this is sort of important to the game.
Okay.
Let's do it. Let me kick us over to the break screen, and we'll take a short break and get this all fixed up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get back to it. Let's reload roll 20.
That memory, not just for recaps.
Yes.
All right.
It's so good to have memory that's like, I remember to do things. I don't have that memory.
Depends on the thing, but I feel it.
Ah, yes, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. This footage is the wrong video source. Oh, yes.
Yes.
It's the wrong lighting. Clearly, it's too dark.
Mhm.
All right. Well, Golden starts.
Yep.
And Golden is the
Resolution.
resolution.
All right, I'm supposed to press a button. I probably should refresh the game. That might help.
Yep.
Yes.
Refresh the game. Click that you're the resolution, and then click the button that gives you. And that's
And
how
if
we
it
start.
doesn't show up, click that you're the
Oh.
signal, and then click that you're the resolution.
Yep.
All right. Apparently,
Because
the
it only
footage
changes when it detects that you change your option. So that if you just refresh and come back, then it's like you didn't change anything,
You didn't change anything.
but everything's changed. I'll tell you.
Everything's different.
Yes.
Trying to see if I can pixelate myself.
Is that
I-
what your question or your thing says? That the footage too pixelated?
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
The dark chamber thanks you for your patience as we find a camera with higher resolution. Oh, I know how to do this. Oh, Kelsey's going to yell at me if I do it, though. All right, we won't do it this time.
Thank you.
Choose one. I just like playing with my webcam. Some or
Can you
all
put
the
yourself
questions
higher in your
below.
frame?
Absolutely.
Actually, Estonia, can you do that too? I can adjust it if no.
Yeah, I would think it'd be easier to just adjust it.
Okay. Ooh.
It's really far away.
What burns inside each pixel on the screen? It's a pretty good question. I think we see like each pixel is being controlled by a little tiny fairy. And there are 3 different fairies. Like there's a red fairy, there's a green fairy, and there's a blue fairy. You can only see one fairy at a time in each pixel. And you can't really see anything too good right now. There's only 4 pixels. And each of the pixels are like flickering different colors. Like you kind of like see like one's more bluish and one is like a light gray, and then there's like these reddish ones, but it's like you can't decide exactly what color it is. And other question, huh? Oh, I guess the pixels get more of the pixels start to appear, and we see yeah, I think we see Ferdinand like dangling from a cage that's been broken open. Like the wrought iron has been twisted apart by something, and he's unconscious, and it's like got him like a hook midair.
The silhouette of my body double. Oh, the silhouette of my body double exposes with the close-up pictures of the fairies blinking on and off. And I think parts of Bryce's body appear and disappear as the lights of the fairies like turn on and off like fireflies. But also we know that Bryce has all of this holographic clothing, like this hood. He has other stuff too. Oh, and he has he has the hood. I think he has a jacket too. I feel like there's this ripple of bright lightning blue that goes through his body, and then his body goes dark back to his normal shirt color, and the lightning blue kind of stays in the jacket and embraces all of the blinking fairy lights. And the blinking fairy lights kind of turn into the shimmer of his holographic clothing. And I think the camera goes like a little closer to him, and he pulls his jacket over his shoulder and looks down at it in slow motion. It's a little hard to tell if he's just doing this really slowly or if he's actually doing it in slow motion, but he looks down to the side, and the little red, green, blue fairies start coming up in actual slow motion off of the corner of his jacket. And I think there's like a double takey kind of flicker cut to him walking forward and kind of doing the carnival row splaying of the dragonfly wings sort of thing. If you've seen the ad for that series on Amazon, which you probably have because this is Twitch, and they really like to plug Amazon stuff all the time because they're
for some weird reason.
Yeah. So I think we see the fairies coming off of the clothing and organizing by his hand, and his hand is clutching this book that he is tucking away into his jacket. And I think the fairies they're chasing the book almost like they're enchanted by it, but also like Bryce is looking at me at the fairies like, don't look inside that book. I'm putting this away now. You stay in the jacket.
Behind the voice of the neighborhood, time itself seems to reverse and echo. Let's see. I need to know what these questions are. I probably should have actually read those before I got started on this.
That's okay.
If a tell happens, do I have to do it, or is that just a thing that I'm allowed to do?
You don't have to click the button.
Okay.
Some of them actually benefit if you let them trigger multiple times before you click it.
Yeah. It's not my color anyway, so it's fine. But
Yeah.
I was thinking about like, oh, that drew a Venn diagram, so that's a line crossing a line. So,
Yeah.
And I
mean,
realized,
think
like,
about it.
way after the fact that that's a trigger even on my playbook still. But this was a more interesting interrupt, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. What reversed music plays in the background? Yeah. As we cut away, the music changes. It's the same upbeat tune, but suddenly in reverse and slowed down. It's like Bryce starts walking backwards, and we like reverse through the sequence that just occurred back to like before it started. And we like go all the way back to like him sitting in makeup getting ready for this really dramatic scene.
Mm-hmm.
And like totally like break the suspension of disbelief as we follow him backwards still. And like we watch while the music plays this kind of discordant backwards reverse of upbeat song that's playing, and like we keep going back to like when Bryce arrived here, and like we see him um we see him stopping and panting because it looks like he's been running, and then he starts running in reverse and keeps going in this discordant song. um
Dark Chamber thanks you for your patience as we focus our equipment. I think who's chasing Bryce is really blurry and out of focus. And I think the only thing that we know is that somebody threw a rock forward, maybe to hit Bryce. But instead of hitting Bryce, Bryce is this wild free runner. He can get out of the way of pretty much anything, probably. The rock hits the camera. So not only is the camera out of focus, there's this huge crack that goes up this way. The screen doesn't shatter into a million pieces, but it makes this angle cut. I think the dramatic effect of changing the focus is that we finally need to see who's chasing Bryce. But as soon as we go from focusing up close on Bryce to focusing in the distance, the buildings around the people resolve and come into detail, but the people chasing him stay as these dark silhouettes that have no faces, and we still can't see who we are, even as they're like running across bricks that we can see in perfect detail. I'm
Okay, well, this
Yeah.
sounds like weird forces are rampant. Let me press this button.
Sure thing.
What does this do? All right, I need to go to the token layer. I'm there. Draw a circle shape. Pardon me while I talk out what I'm doing, because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Inside the circle, text your burning questions. The circle geographically keeps the weird forces contained. Interrupt with... Okay. And so when I draw the circle, it has to be in the ratio box and it can't cross anything else?
Right.
Okay, that is not a circle.
I almost wonder if the blur people are
It's my
changed.
question.
Yeah, I know.
It should be in my color. Well, actually, it should be in the darker version of my color.
Yeah.
Okay. More than wanting to know how these people are blurred, or even why these people are blurred, I want to know if Bryce knows who they are anyway.
That's really cool.
Type, dang it.
So then after you're done typing that, you have that like little interjection at the bottom, and then I have some drawing to do.
Okay. The music abruptly switches to something something that releases the tension, something that feels very satisfying just to listen to. And we cut back to Bryce again, and he's in top form and seems to be having a good time. Like, whatever was chasing him doesn't matter.
Keep going because I still have some stuff.
I'm trying to read what your stuff is so I can know what's going on.
Okay, yeah. All good.
So, we're following Bryce again, but this doesn't go back down the same path that we got here. But it seems like we're initially on the same streets as we are following Bryce now. The satisfying music playing over Bryce, free running, jumping over things, running along ledges, leaping up where the sidewalk would normally like ramp together, just totally shortcutting it, getting up to his like the he totally like leaps up a fire escape until he is at the top of a building that kind of overlooks the city, and he sits there like Spider-Man pose at the top, and like takes a moment to like pull his holographic jacket around him, as like the wind whistles through and he like flips up the hood and whatever, and like we look out across the whole city.
The camera captures all, like you just said, we see all the city in this 3x7 screen. And instead of like in other shots where we've seen like the ground level in this tiny corner of the screen and then all of it being sky, we're looking down. So we can see, it's almost like a bird's eye view where we're seeing down the gaps between the skyscrapers and the buildings and down to the streets below and the cars going on the streets. And then the camera focuses back on Bryce, but Bryce is in way up here in the top of the camera, and we see all of the fire escapes that he climbed up from. And I think now that we're kind of sort of on the ground, maybe on like a second floor type level, the camera pans to the right and we see down these blurry alleyways that just have like gassy light blue sky color, aerial perspective type stuff, because these alleyways aren't like Blades in the Dark alleyways where like things are all curvy back and forth type of thing. These are orderly sci-fi alleyways where if you look down, it's basically a street. It's going to go like, if it's oriented to west or to north, and it goes down that way as far as it possibly can, to the point where like things get blurry and lose color if you're looking that way for long enough. And this aspect ratio is just perfect for capturing this footage because it really captures the height of these buildings. And it also creates suspense as we pan to the right, so that seeing the kind of the same building repeat once, we're surprised when we see that one just down the road, that one underpass that was blocked is still covered in that neon red light, indicating that there's a major like block in the road happening that can't be solved. And we zoom in to see some stars we've met before. June, I can't remember all who was in that limo. That was really far back and may not have even happened.
Was that in the car, like at the very beginning?
Yeah, that was in the limo at the very beginning, where they were trapped
So
in the red.
June, Trinity,
Right.
And Brian.
and Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see. That's right. We see them trapped in the limo, and I think during this whole time we were like, oh, Bryce can't be here because he's standoffish and nobody was answering. He wasn't answering anybody's calls. This is where he was getting chased. So this is what we've learned from this scene.
All right, so he's still being chased by those blur guys. Okay.
Yeah, I think I've made some headway, but
he's always been chased by those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna click this button. Okay, go to the token layer. Polygon, line align. I don't think anybody is stuck right now. So cross specific objects. Okay, so I should cross a Stanny's line.
I'm trying to think.
Your star is happy with their work, cross one of your own dots.
Yeah. What's Ferdinand doing?
It's one of your double exposures? How do I even do that?
That's in the double exposure move that I did it, but I didn't get very far with it. So, yeah, I can explain how this works.
Yeah, because I noticed that you used the lens after you used your double exposure.
Yep, because the other trigger was run out of styles and I had like 4. So I was like, okay, I'm never going to hit this.
So how did you get out of it?
I did my lens move at the top. That lets you get out of your...
Oh, so you can use that whenever you want.
Yeah, it says refresh your shots. So.
Yep.
And...
my double exposure is right here. So my double exposure is the way my jacket merges with the fairies. And kind of how I'm like... my form goes in and out of existence with the flashing of the lights.
Okay.
How is it a forgotten memory? Sorry, I feel like I don't understand it.
Okay. Come to me with your questions.
So it says you're exposed to a forgotten memory, but what does that mean?
So kind of the way I imagine... it's not like a mechanical thing in particular for the trigger.
Right.
It's like literally like something you had just forgotten about. Something comes up in the reality show where you're like, oh, you're that person, or oh, you're that place. Just like you
Okay.
have like somebody's like brings something up and it gives your character a moment of like extreme nostalgia that they had forgotten about,
Okay.
or also like magic memory losing shit, which seems to happen in this game. That also counts.
All right,
So,
cool.
yep.
So I was gonna say that what we see Ferdinand doing is he sneaks up behind the pixelated things chasing Bryce, and we see him like get out a little PDA with a cord on it, and he plugs the cord into their jackets, and he hacks it, and we see it upload a billboard that's advertising um, this Twitch stream called Packet Loss, and they can't see where they're going now because they're just covered with this opaque billboard instead of their blurry filter, which has been downloaded into Ferdinand's PDA.
I have a question.
Yes.
During which calibration do we name the episode?
Oh, that's a
During,
good question.
thank you. Golden, you need to pick any of our questions and decide what this episode is named.
Okay. Um,
Because I was like, hack is not a
Yes.
verb that you can use, but there may be a verb in one of the questions that you could use.
Mm,
I'm going to use become.
That's a good one.
weird. Cool.
So we see Ferdinand download it into his PDA and then download it into his own outfit, and he becomes one of the glitch boys. Download it into
Huh.
who seems to be chasing Bryce, but when Ferdinand gets up top, takes off the hood, and they recognize each other. So it's totally cool. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and cross my line. I'm going to do it like this.
Now, I definitely feel like you obfuscated there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did obfuscate.
Does the box count as a line in this? Does the box ever
That's
count as a
true.
line?
The box never counts as a line. We're just not allowed
Okay.
to put things outside of it.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I don't see that. Oh, here we go. It comes after. I hadn't read this yet. Cross one line per verb your work encompasses. So I became. Let's keep going. I obfuscated. How far can this thing go?
You can't leave with the box.
You have to
Okay.
keep it inside the box, though.
Yes.
Oh, I cannot leave the box. Okay, so I guess we'll leave this way.
You could cross over some of our lines though if you wanted to.
Okay, so I cross my own line, which doesn't accomplish anything right now, right?
Right.
Right, it does not do anything for me. And then I cross Lavender's line because I became and I obfuscated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you're done, interrupt them. Who is them?
Person who was speaking.
Them would be
before
me.
you.
I wanted to let you talk so that you could talk through your move and we can talk about the game.
Oh, okay. So where I was just like thinking it out quietly while you talked, that was correct.
Yeah.
But now I'm supposed to see the camera closes in Ferdinand, and we'll see what we already saw where he becomes the glitch boys, and then goes to hang out with Bryce.
Mm-hmm. Chat, if you have questions, give them to me. Otherwise, I'm gonna pick through some of these old ones.
Also, Golden, you still have questions to answer. What artistic statements are you making through the aspect ratio, camera angle, or closeness?
I think it's mostly that we see the aspect ratio where it's not like Ferdinand is taking up the whole screen. We see like a panoramic of the city while he's doing the becoming. But it's like he's just not being noticed, right? Like he's just a part of the city while he's doing this. Like he's not sticking out as something that would be a threat to the Glitch Boys.
Mm-hmm. Like the voids between dreams, the dark chambers of my memories. Did you just see that? I just saw Ferdinand as one of the people that's been chasing me this whole time. Is he one of them? Is he working against them for my interest? I kind of have a crush on him, but if he's one of the people who's been chasing me, I don't want to have anything to do with him. And that's when I broke eye contact with the camera. So when I break eye contact, I tell the neighborhood to close their sheet, and I close my start sheet. Then I click the neighborhood sheet, and then Kelsa picks a start play. And then we update our display names. So basically, since I lost focus and looked away from the camera, we're starting a new scene where I'm the neighborhood and Kelsa's one of the stars.
Okay. And I realized I probably should have done that when I was doing my previous move.
Yeah.
But also part of the reason I was looking away was just to check to make sure I wasn't miss anything on the prompts thing.
Yep. That's exactly what I did too. I was just like, I saw what happened. I looked to the screen and I was like, oh wait, there are other questions there. Nope, I have to commit. I have to rely on my memory as a game designer now.
As not the game designer, I cut myself a little slack there.
Yes.
So I can pick any character that no one is currently playing.
Yep.
It's June.
Of course it is.
Someday you're gonna not be June.
No. I was Ruth once.
Barely.
Yes, you were.
Barely. All right. I'll be not June. It's fine.
No, you can be June. I'm just giving you a hard time about it.
Okay.
But be June if you want to be June.
I'll be June.
I'm gonna be June's evil sister.
July.
April.
May.
That's horrible. I love it.
Why aren't there more women named February?
It's like four syllables.
You can call her Febs. That's a great name. Feb.
Oh my
Feb,
god.
how's it going, Feb?
I'm so convinced February is a good name now. I love it.
Besides, all the Februaries would be Aquariuses.
What if February was born in June?
Then you know their parents are huge trolls.
So who do we start with? I actually don't know.
Well,
how do you decide?
You should know.
Yes. It's me. Because
okay.
Nobody knows where we are.
Okay, yes.
I certainly don't know where we are. It opens up to flashes of the neighborhood set to poppy upbeat music, which is very good. Okay, I'm going to read these questions this time before I stare at the web camera so that we can do this correctly. What situation are the stars in? How does the vibe of the music make the stars pose and dance? What question does the voice of the neighborhood ask the lurkers? And what are the faceless extras doing in the background? Okay. How have you managed to invade my city? I. You're. I know that the number of you that are here and the number of you that are out there are very, very different in number because there's, I don't know, maybe a million of you or a billion of you, and there's only maybe a gang here. So I want to know, lurkers, what's going on. Do you, I doubt you control them personally. Do you, are they working for you? All I know is that I can't see their faces. I can't sense their faces. I don't hear their movements as they walk on me. I. What is going on in my city? I don't get it. I don't understand. Ugh. Perhaps they're all right to leave me and to go into space, to go to the moon and leave me to make their missions out to the space station and leave me behind to go to dock, to go across the sea to someplace else because I have baggage now. I have problems. There are dark, faceless people in me that want nothing more than to chase people I care about, people I warn over the intercoms. And I see something in my periphery, but I don't know what it is yet. So I'm just going to keep going until you interrupt me. Um, I I love Bryce. I love June. I love Trinity. I love Ruth. I love Ferdinand. All of these people are my children, and I feel like you lurkers are just taking them away from me. What is that? Is that your eye? Is that a bubble in space? There's something twinkling, and I don't see any stars in that night. But at the end of that tunnel, I see a bubble.
And the camera closes in on the bubble. And it's like a like one of those float bubbles that you can go out on the water with, that with a person inside. And inside of it is June, of course. And she's discovered that inside of this bubble, the the blurry people cannot see her. And so she pulls her shawl closer around her and takes this as an opportunity to really look at them, and is able to get an impression of where they're coming from. Like, basically, she's able to follow them unobserved in her little bubble and watches them as they come across the foggy bridge. And as they come out of the fog, it's like the fog comes with them and keeps blanketing them in their identities. And
I have to draw a thing.
right, that's how this works. It's weird. And so she watches them, and she goes to the bridge herself, and she thinks about if she could cross it, but she realizes that whatever's on the other side of that bridge is not going to win her a reality TV show. That's not what she's here for. She feels a little bit relieved to know where these things are coming from, and a little bit kind of superior, knowing that in her bubble they can't see her.
Mm-hmm. So I think the music sort of reflects that, filling us with like triumphant warmth, as June is the only one that we've seen so far to notice and do anything other than run away from these dark figures. This music is just like really swelling and triumphant, and it's not like the peppy upbeat guitar music that you might expect at the beginning of a reality show, but it's super positive in this moment because June is making this happen. I feel like we like sweep through the entirety of Giant's Leap with this swelling music leading us along. And I feel like maybe the way the camera goes is it pulls us up, and then like we swoop down like a bird of prey past these alleyways to Bryce, and then up again, zooming in on Ferdinand, up again, and at this point we're in front of the building for the photo shoot at the beginning of the series, and we see Brian, June, and Trinity at the beginning.
Wait, weren't you supposed to take over the neighborhood?
I am the neighborhood.
Okay.
I'm
you just didn't
Mary.
update your name. It still says Bryce, and I got confused.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is one of the neighborhood moves.
Yep.
You're right. I realize that now, but I'm just looking at it, seeing Bryce, and I'm like, and then you mentioned Bryce, and then I was like, wait, what?
Wait, yep. That's totally understandable. And the move does just kind of say like stuff about music, but I'm like nobody's interrupting me, so I'm keeping going by taking over the camera and like having a swoop down to see Trinity, June, and Brian. And I think this is when the triumphant music does flip back to that like peppy, upbeat club music, and we see all the footage of the photo shoot where they're taking promo photos for like the commercials for this reality show, and we're seeing it like partially in some shots from back inside the building behind the camera people, who there's lights all around to light the stars, so these camera people are also like they're faceless, but not like they don't have our faces turned to us. So we're just not seeing their faces because they're turned around, right? And we
nothing
go
weird there. It's fine.
Yeah, no. And in other shots, we're seeing it through the window, peeking in. In other shots, we're in the middle of the lights and the like, the background they put behind you, and we see Trinity taking her promo photos again, but this time is like the music is different than it was last time. It's upbeat club music as opposed to like dark droning techno music, and it puts this whole other spin on what's going on. And I think Trinity, you know that all of this feels really fake to you, as this is like you remember being here before, and this was not what the music was like last time. This isn't the mood. It feels weird for you to be experiencing this all over again. You've met June at this point, so now you like know June to have context for the little hair flip she did at the beginning, and this time it makes you angry and upsets you because of all of these other mean things that June has said to you. But now, like, you weren't this angry the first time, and that's really weird. We also see June looking back at Trinity, and you were just in this bubble looking at the dark faceless people who are chasing Bryce. And I think there's this weird moment where you both recognize that this isn't where you're supposed to be. I talked for a lot, so I'm not sure I have any more. Oh, you are muted, Kelsa.
Oh, hey, what do you know? I guess my question is, can I jump in there with free roleplay there, or is that because I don't have a move? Like, that's one thing I'm not super clear on.
You would need to have a move for that. It's maybe you have drama to stir up. I know that that's a trigger for one of your moves.
Can I ask, since you're already in a move, can you just continue doing that move at the same time as you're doing your move?
I can keep talking until I'm interrupted. Is that what you're asking, or am I answering the wrong question?
Yeah, like Kelsa's in an action shot. So while you're describing that, can Kelsa describe artistic statements through aspect ratio or camera angle or closeness?
That's really interesting. I think I like that.
Because you continue until you're interrupted.
Yep.
But I've been interrupted. But I guess that it would make sense that I'm still in that until, because I can't do the other thing because I'm in the action shot. I have to.
You're still in the same part of the action shot.
So, yeah, I mean, I think the camera angle, like, is capturing June and Trinity at such an angle that it's definitely telegraphing that they're going to have some kind of confrontation. Like, the camera angle itself and the distance it's pulled back is making it feel like they're, even though they both know they're in the wrong place, they care more about each other than about getting out of there.
Mm-hmm. I think the music kind of reinforces that mood also.
But the camera captures Trinity. Her face is downcast, her eyes are obscured by her silver fringe. We see her pick up a bolero hat and put it on her head, further obscuring her face to the camera. Almost like she's a celebrity trying not to be spotted by paparazzi. And she's done with her shoot. And as she walks out, behind her, there's this trail of blue smoke that just kind of obscures her from the camera as well. The camera angles at all these uncomfortable Dutch angles, just to kind of reinforce this sense of like uncertainty. It's like to make the viewer feel uncomfortable.
Oh, I see. I had to actually like look up pictures of what that is. Thank you for teaching me something.
Now I'm curious too.
Yeah.
They're used a lot in horror movies to make people feel really uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. How are we doing on time?
Yeah.
Do we want to stop there, or do we want to?
I think so. We're right around time here.
Yeah, because otherwise we're just gonna get into more stuff.
Yeah, or else we might calibrate again.
Yeah.
Cool. I dumped all my styles on the board. You're welcome.
Amazing.
Oops, I did not need to make that. Okay, well, thank you everyone who came out today. I'm going to go ahead and kick us back over to the splash screen for a little bit of music. What?
Shoutouts.
Oh my gosh, I keep
Yes.
forgetting shoutouts because we go to the other thing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Since you remembered what the F we're doing, why don't you start with the shout out, Staney?
Hi, I'm Estanie when I'm not here remembering everything.
Thank
You
goodness.
can find me on my own Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Estanie, where I play a variety of games and I do art streams. If you want to check out my art, check out my Patreon at patreon.com/Estanie. If you want to see me in more role-playing games, you should check out Kelsa's channel on Saturdays. She'll tell you more about our Republic City by Night game, where I play a really cool, reckless firebender. I love her. Or you can check me out on Fridays. I host it on my channel. It's on King Philip X's channel, where we play a D&D Tomb Annihilation game, which is really fun. I
Awesome.
think that's all of my streams.
Thank you. All right, Golden, what about you? What do you do?
Oh, what do? I
I don't even know.
I think about streaming on Twitch. And then eventually, when I have enough people, we make a critical mass, and I press the start stream button.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Corner
basically what happens. It hasn't happened now for a few months, but in theory, that's what I do.
Gotcha.
Right now, I retweeted my friend Indigo, who I play with on Sundays. He made an RPG where you are traveling through a mysterious desert, and it's really cool. We got chased by obelisks when I played it. I I dug into the sand and I found a sphinx guarding a mystical underground river, and then the sphinx fought a pyramid. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
It fought the pyramid.
yeah, it fought the pyramid.
Okay.
If you're interested in this kind of strange fantasy desert traveling, you should check it out. It's at 4b0082.itch.io. And the game will be on sale 95% off on Halloween, which is 21 cents.
Ooh.
So I don't know why you would not try this thing. I'm telling you, it's actually really good. And it's 21 cents. I don't see the problem.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Lavender, what about you? Besides making this crazy ass game, what do you do?
I'm Dark Lavender Void on Twitter, and that is pretty much the only thing I do.
Cool. Well, I'm Kelsa, and this is my channel. You can find me on Twitter at Kelsa, Twitch and YouTube. It's Kelsa Delphi. I play role-playing games on the internet. So, my schedule is going to be basically Thursday through Tuesday. I play role-playing games. Thursday, I am over on Party Wipe Games playing Packet Loss, which is fantastic. I love that game. It's a scum and villainy game. Fridays I don't have a stream. Wow, awkward. Saturdays, however,
Sounds like you need to start a Friday game, is what I just heard you say.
I have a game on Friday, but it's not streamed. That's what's
okay,
going on.
There you go.
It's the chill game. Saturdays is the game that Estani was talking about. We're playing Republic City by Night, which is a Legend of Korra Blades in the Dark hack. We are detectives, and I love the game. I love our characters, and we've only had like one episode, and it's amazing. So that's Saturdays. Sundays, I'm over on AP Gaming Real. We're playing Game of Thrones House Wars, and then Mondays, I'm here doing this, and Tuesdays, I had to remember what day came after Monday. Tuesdays, I'm over on the Greyhawk channel where I'm actually playing D&D. Bajko is a half-orc barbarian and is also one of my favorite characters. So, he's very similar to June, only better at smashing things.
Yes.
Actually, I think he's much politer than June.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's more wholesome than June. June's a bitch.
For a barbarian whose first instinct is like, can I kill it? He's more wholesome than June. Yeah, you're not even wrong. You're not even wrong. Okay, now that we've done our shout-outs, then I will kick us over to the splash screen for a little bit of music on our way out. And then we're going to do some recording, and I'll even put it up on YouTube, probably.
I'll try to remind you.
Before next time. That's the plan.
Before the memories strip out of our brains.
Don't
Yes.
worry, I'll remember everything. It's fine.
Thank you so much, Estani. We need
Superpower
that.
here.
It is. It's so good. And thank you all for coming out.